What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was the Red Flash Part 12. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like. And if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Impulse versus the White Snake because it was the last place Naruto was. Oliver, Roy, and Diggle drove up to Orochimaru's mansion in the Palisades. Felicity tracked him down by using his suit's GPS tracker, which was currently at the mansion. Oliver and Roy were dressed as the Arrow and Arsenal, respectively, while Dig wore the helmet, visor Naruto made him, as well as a combat jacket, a Kevlar vest, and a belt containing his Glock weapon and other unique equipment. Dig pulled over the car van down the street from the mansion as the three exited and walked the path through the woods to escape any scouts. They went quickly and quietly, taking refuge behind the woods. Oliver, I'm not picking up any heat signatures nearby. Dig told him that he was utilizing the scanner in his visor and that it wasn't picking up anything nearby except them. This place appears to be deserted, Roy added, and Oliver activated his communication link. Felicity, is Naruto's tracker still giving out a signal? Oliver inquired. Felicity, back at the bunker with Laurel, was monitoring the tracker signal from Naruto's impulse suit. During their most recent visit, she was able to obtain the signal to his suit's tracker and was using the Star Lab satellite to check the stream, which was still active. Yes, his signal indicates that he is still present, but it hasn't moved in the last hour. He might be in jeopardy. Alright, let's get moving. Dig moved to the back, while Oliver and Roy moved to the front. When they arrived at the front door, they split up and were preparing for a breach when Roy realized the lock had been busted open. He gestured to Oliver, who spotted it, and they moved slowly inside the big manor, arrows drawn on their bows, ready for anything in their path, only to find no one there. The home was still furnished, but no one seemed to be around. Nonetheless, judging from the large hole in the distant well, Naruto was undoubtedly present. Dig entered through the kitchen after entering from the back. There's no one here. When Dig discovered the large hole in the wall, he alerted them. Looks like Naruto was here. They heard some moving and the sound of glass crushing downstairs and went down there cautiously and discreetly, expecting to see Naruto. When Oliver noticed a moving shadow, he rapidly drew his arrow back and aimed at the individual. Don't make a move. They shielded their eyes as a dazzling flash of light struck the ceiling above them. As Dig, Roy, and Oliver readied to fire at their enemy, Oliver fired his arrow but missed, and the light went out. Wait. As they got a good look at the person in the basement, they heard a lady yell, and it wasn't Naruto. The individual in question was a woman wearing a unique mask and her black hair in a ponytail. She was dressed in a black polymer composite battlesuit with white boots, belt, gloves, and shoulder pads, a silver sash-like belt with a star symbol, and another star sign on her chest. 3. I'm completely on your side, she yelled as she raised her hands. Who are you? Oliver inquired. I'm Binary, the newest member of Team Flash. I'm here to find someone, she informed them, and Oliver lowered his bow slightly. You're looking for Impulse, aren't you? He inquired, and she nodded. You have metahuman abilities. Did you get sent by the Flash? Not exactly, but he's worried, too. She informed them this while holding out a GPS tracking system gadget that was running the application. He was here last. So, where is he? Roy inquired. I'm not sure. I arrived a few minutes ago and the only item I discovered were these. She displayed two little lightning bolt symbols to them. These were his lightning bolt headsets. It also serves as a tracking beacon. Oliver examined one of the lightning bolt emblems and noted there was no blood, which was a good indication, but what happened to Naruto if it was here? He saw some particles caught in the circuits at that point. He opened it and spilled sand out. Sand? Dig inquired. Where in the hell is Impulse? I'm not sure. I should have stopped him before he arrived. He assured me that he had no choice but to do so. I should have blasted him and forced him to stay. Binary thought to herself as Oliver, Dig, and Roy observed her familiarity, more so than Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin. You're Impulse's girlfriend, aren't you? Roy inquired. Binary gave them a worried face, as if her hidden identity had been disclosed. We've already met and know the other members of Team Flash. They assisted us months ago. Despite the fact that we didn't see you when we arrived in Central City. I'm a new member. I just received my suit, she informed them. Do you think you have another way to find him? We came here to track the tracking device in his suit, and how about you? Oliver inquired. This was given to me by Dr. Wells before I left. It said it could find him, but I arrived too late. Before giving it over to the arrow, she told them. Before the software restarted with a command prompt track secondary target, the tracking device gave out 3 consecutive beeps in fast succession, indicating that it had found its intended target. What's the secondary target? As Binary approached the command prompt, Oliver inquired. I honestly don't know. Binary took out her phone and dialed Dr. Wells' number. Dr. Wells, I'm in Starling and I couldn't find Naruto. All I could find were his tracking emblems. What is the secondary goal? The secondary target is the other tracking device that I placed on Naruto, Dr. Wells informed her. Did you install another tracking device on him? She inquired as to what grabbed the attention of the others. I know Naruto well enough to know that he was going to do something stupid eventually, so having a backup tracking device in case the lighting emblems were compromised seemed like the most logical decision. He elaborated. I installed a tracking probe in his goggles when Cisco and I upgraded them for situations like this. The tracking gadget will also be able to locate the secondary probe. Thank you very much, Dr. Wells. And could you ask Barry whether he wants to come to Starling? She inquired. I don't give a damn what he said to us. He urgently requires our assistance right now. I'll get him there as soon as possible. Best wishes, Ems Park. Don't be afraid to bring him back in one piece. You can do it. Before hanging up, he assured her. Linda returned the tracking device and turned on the secondary target tracking node. It took a minute for the satellite to detect the probe in the city, but an active signal quickly appeared at a warehouse near the docks. Felicity, we have a possible location at the docks on Impulse. 45 is the warehouse number. Oliver called in to see if she could look into it. I'm looking into that right now. Miyagi Tea Import Company owns a private warehouse. They mostly use it to transport their products into and out of the nation, she informed him. Miyagi Team Import, does that mean anything to you? Oliver inquired. It's a front for the Yakuza. Naruto must be with Orochimaru, she informed him. We've got to get him back. You're not joining us. Oliver informed her. Yes, I am, and if you don't believe me, we're in big trouble. She replied, her hands clenched and brightness shining through. That's my boyfriend in trouble, and I'll be damned if I stand by and do nothing when he needs me. This isn't dealing with metahumans. This is dealing with the Yakuza and the Nine. You have no idea what you're in for, he forewarned her. I'm prepared for whatever comes my way. Look, I may not have been doing this as long as Impulse or Flash, nor am I as well trained as you and your merry band, but I can still surprise you. She raised her palm and blasted a 2-foot-wide hole in the wall with such force that the concrete bricks around the opening became red hot. Because of the enormous burden placed on him by his parents, the man I love went by himself to keep me and our friends safe. He may wish to keep me out of this, but I will not let him die. So, either we go together or we'll have an issue. Fine, I respond, but don't say I didn't warn you. As they were leaving, he told her. Miyagi Tea Import Depot. Orochimaru's preferred front for his illegal activities was the Miyagi Tea Import warehouse, and at the time, all of his remaining Yakuza goons and 9 henchmen were gathered together because they had managed to capture the 2 superpowered individuals who had been causing them problems with their operations in Starling City. Naruto and Jiraiya had just awoken, and the only reason they weren't kicking ass and dispatching the criminals with ease was due to the sand coffins restricting their mobility. Naruto struggled to break free, but it was futile because the sand prevented him from moving his limbs, and the sand user was none other than his old college friend Gaara. Naruto couldn't believe it when he found out that his quiet, calm, and slightly unemotional friend who you could always count on to help you was working for Orochimaru. Gaara, halt! You're not going to work for this guy, Naruto yelled, but Gaara appeared unfazed. Don't squander your time, youngster. Something tells me that Mr. Sandman is not in complete control of his activities, Jiraiya informed him. Naruto was perplexed when he noticed the steel collar around Gaara's neck, which brought him to Gaara's eyes, which were grayed out instead of their usual green. What in the hell happened to you? Naruto inquired aloud. A little reprogramming, I suppose. They could hear Orochimaru approaching them, inspecting Naruto's repulsor gauntlets before tossing them to the ground and smashing them with his boot. What the fuck did you do to him, fucking snake? Naruto yelled, only to be punched across the face by one of Orochimaru's troops. Now, there is no necessity for hostilities at this time. Our young acquaintance here is clearly worried about his friend, but let me put your mind at ease. Orochimaru circled Gaara like a coach would his prize student. The collar around his neck contributes to the persuasion factor in our relationship. It makes him more obedient and accepting of my commands, which is a positive thing. He was a terrific young man in his own right, but not as my personal bodyguard. I discovered this youngster while volunteering in Hong Kong for one of my philanthropic causes. He appeared to be an ideal test subject. You ruined his life, sick fuck. Naruto screamed angrily, desperately attempting to break free. Gaara wished to assist others. He turned down a dream job in New York City to undertake charity work, and you treated him like the jerk you are. That's one thing you and your son have in common, and I've beaten his $1 twice. Oh, you're testy. You appear to know a lot about him. Who exactly are you behind that mask? Orochimaru grasped Naruto's face in a vice grip, displaying considerable power, before removing his goggles and tossing them aside and ultimately pulling his mask down. All right, Mr. Namikaze, part of me is astonished, but part of me was looking forward to this day. Perhaps if Mizuki had murdered you that day, it would have saved me from the subsequent headaches. Unfortunately for you, he's no longer alive, you son of a bitch. Rah. Naruto became enraged and attempted to strike him, but he was immobilized. And your son is locked up too, asshole, and I beat his $1 twice. Kabuto is many things, but one of them is not a good fighter. Nonetheless, all of these events have led you to me, so perhaps there is a silver lining after all. Maybe I'll go free him after this and check how he's doing. Last I heard, he went through a similar change that I did. Orochimaru smirked as he passed over Naruto's face. Tell me, how does it feel to run with all that lightning coursing through your veins? How about I show you, you son of a bitch? Naruto was enraged because he couldn't do anything. What motivated you to do it? Why did you murder my parents? I figured if you got this far, it would be obvious, but I'm more than happy to tell you. Orochimaru delighted in the memories. The moment your parents became conscious, they signed their own death warrant. Although I shouldn't be too harsh on them because they did provide me with some desirable improvements and a metahuman with sand control. You used one of the meta serums on Gaara? Naruto inquired. Those 8 serums were given to you for the purpose of arming an army. Well, as much as I would have liked it, I could only have one, but it was one of the most powerful. Orochimaru returned Gaara's gaze. A metahuman with sand control is more useful than you think. Take, for example, preventing a speedster from moving. Now that I have you, perhaps 2 more metahuman attack dogs will spice things up. That's not gonna happen. Jiraiya informed him, and Orochimaru smiled. Oh, you're a fighter. It'll be entertaining to shatter you. However, for Naruto, perhaps your mind would be better served by finishing the duty your father left incomplete. Orochimaru proposed it. Fuck you. That's never going to happen, Naruto said. Do your worst, asshole, but I'm never gonna work for you or the rest of the 9. You've never seen my worst, little speedster, Orochimaru said to Gaara. Gaara, be a dear and make him more agreeable than his father. The sand around Naruto tightened like a vice around his entire body. Arg! Naruto clenched his teeth, not wanting to give Orochimaru the delight of hearing him scream. Let him go, yelled Jiraiya. It's up to him. All he has to do is become more complacent, and it'll stop, Orochimaru explained. Fuck you. Naruto managed to yell as the sand tightened around him, covering his lips and then his nose. I wonder how long you'll be able to hold your breath before your body bursts from the pressure? Let's find out. Orochimaru smirked as the rest of his soldiers laughed. Naruto tried his hardest to hold his breath as long as he could, but with the extra tension and pain of the sand vice, he couldn't go more than 30 seconds. It was time for a Hail Mary, so he just started vibrating his body as rapidly as he could in an attempt to break out, but it wasn't working. When a crimson blur of yellow lighting slammed into Gaara and knocked him across the warehouse, the sand was about to obscure his eyes. The sand that had encircled Jiraiya and Naruto had fallen to the ground just in time, saving their lives. Naruto coughed up a lung and spit sand out of his mouth. A shockwave of white energy drove Orochimaru and his men away before they could attack or defend themselves. The crimson blur in front of Naruto stopped moving, revealing the flash, and the white light came from Binary in her new suit, who hurried over to bring Naruto back to his feet. What are you two doing here? Naruto inquired, reapplying his mask. I'm saving your butt, Flash explained as he handed him his goggles. I told you both to stay out of this. This is my fight. Naruto was irritated that they had arrived. Yeah, because it was already going so well for you. A second longer and you'd be dead, Binary continued. Look, we understand that this is personal for you, and that you believe you need to do it alone to keep us safe, and we respect that. However, respect our right to assist you and ensure you don't die in the process. When she looked up and noticed some goons aiming their rifles at them, she fired a beam of light at them, knocking them away. We'll talk about it later. For now, let's show these jerks how meta fights. Impulse stated as he strapped on his goggles. Sounds good to me, Flash said as he and Impulse accelerated forward while Binary fired a light beam that melted the firearms of several gangsters before knocking them away with a light shockwave. Hearing the noises of fighting outside, more goons and Yakuza men entered the building from the south side and were about to shoot at Binary when 2 arrows hit the ground in front of them and exploded in a shower of sparks and light, throwing them back. Some of them fired into the ceiling only to be hit in the arm, leg, or breast by arrows. The Arrow and Arsenal were grappled to the ground, while Dig entered through a side door and shot 2 Yakuza enforcers. 4 more goons barged in via the freight door, but they were chopped in 2 and put down with fast punches to the face and groin before being blasted with an icer bullet. The Arrow nodded in reverence to Jiraiya, who had just saved their backs. Jiraiya returned the nod as the 4 of them joined the fight against the army of Yakuza enforcers and henchmen. Flash, Impulse, and Binary were on the other side of the warehouse, effortlessly dispatching the human enforcers, who had been tied up in groups to prevent them from fleeing. Granted, practically all of them knew Naruto's true identity, so perhaps they should have been imprisoned on Oliver's secret island prison, but that was for later. "Where's Orochimaru?" Impulse inquired, looking about for him, but he seemed to have vanished in the midst of the turmoil. I think we have other problems right now," Binary said as sand waves encircled them. She shot them, and they instantly turned to glass, but others sprang out of nowhere and knocked her off her feet. She flew through the air and collided with a wall, rendering her unconscious. Binary. Before Impulse or Flash could aid her, a large sand fist hit them and knocked them against a wooden pallet of tea bags, which helped cushion their fall. "Damn, who knew tea could hurt so much?" Flash exclaimed as they rose to their feet and noticed Gaara standing in the warehouse. "Isn't that your old college friend?" "Yes, but he isn't himself. That collar around his neck is controlling him, and Orochimaru is using him as an attack dog," Impulse explained. The cork on Gaara's gourd popped off, and sand poured out as if it had its own consciousness. It formed a whirlwind around him before part of it crystallized into spears and swords. "That's not good," Flash muttered as Gaara unleashed sand arrows at them, causing them to flee. Gaara sought to murder them by raising his hands as more sand poured out. Some of it shaped into wooden mallets and tried to squish them, while sand swords attempted to sever their heads. With their speed, the 2 speedsters were able to stay out of harm's path and charged towards Gaara, preparing to knock him out, only for some sand to move onto the floor and trip them up. The mind-controlled sand metahuman formed a protective bubble around himself with sand, while a sand eye hovered in the air to keep a watch on them. Sand waves pursued them, and while they were safe, they couldn't push through for an opening. 2 explosive arrows struck the sand dome and burst, but it appeared to have little effect. The sand had minor burn scars but little damage. Several bullets followed the arrows, but the ding sound they made and the fact that they broke off upon contact indicated that the sand had hardened to the consistency of concrete. "What kind of sand is that?" inquired the Arrow, darting to the side to avoid some sand before launching another explosive arrow that dispersed some sand. "The metahuman kind," said Impulse as he moved out of the way of some sand. "Don't hurt him, it's not his fault. Orochimaru was wearing some kind of mind control collar." Arsenal shot an exploding arrow into some sand to open a route when a sand sword appeared from above to chop him in half, only to be tackled out of the way by Jiraiya. "So, what are we going to do?" Jiraiya inquired. "We need to get past that dome," Impulse exclaimed, holding up the metahuman power-dampening bracelet he was concealing in his belt. "If I can get this on him, he won't be able to use his powers." "Easier said than done," Dig remarked as he fired his full pistol clip at the sand dome, but nothing happened. "That dome has got to be as thick as concrete." "Clear us a path," exclaimed Impulse. Flash, accelerated double-team mass punch. "Ready when you are," Flash exclaimed as the 2 speedsters supersped away from danger. Gaara and his creepy sand eye were kept busy with gunfire and explosives by the Arrow, Arsenal, Dig, and Jiraiya. They were able to clear a way, so Impulse and Flash sped forward, vibrating their right fists at great speed in an attempt to break through the sand dome. Jiraiya hurled a hand grenade at a clump of sand, scattering some and drawing Gaara's attention. He dashed to the side and knelt, firing a couple shots from his icer to draw Gaara's attention to the left, leaving his right vulnerable. When Flash and Impulse saw their opportunity, they surged forward, closing the gap and landing 2 accelerated mass punches to the sand dome. A muted boom followed by 2 massive sand explosions would normally be a positive thing, but not in this situation. Their speed provided enough force for their fists to penetrate the sand dome but not all the way through. Their fists were halfway through the dome. That turned out to be a horrible decision because a portion of the sand dome expanded out and sharpened into spikes. They skewered the two speedsters, but two grappling lines wrapped around them and jerked them out of the way in time. The two speedsters landed hard, and Jiraiya wrenched them free with his incredible strength when Arsenal and Arrow deployed their grappling arrows. "Okay, your plan didn't work. We need another one," Jiraiya said before the 6 heroes dashed away to avoid being slain. When Naruto remembered how part of the sand turned to glass when she blasted it, he noticed Linda was unconscious. "Keep him occupied." Naruto dashed over to her side, leaving the others to fight with a mind-controlled metahuman. "I was hoping for a different kind of plan," Jiraiya exclaimed, leaping away swiftly to escape being hit. "Linda," Naruto shook her gently, and she awoke, holding her head in anguish. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, but my head hurts," she replied as she noticed the others evading sand waves coming from the sand dome in the center. "What's going on?" "I'll explain later, but we need your help. Gaara's sand dome has us at a stalemate. Your light can heat that metal into glass, and once that's done, I can put my power dampening bracelet on him," he stated. "I got it." Linda rose to her feet, and light shone from her hands and feet, propelling her into the air and lifting her higher. Naruto inquired, "Since when can you do that?" "I've been training a lot," she explained before clasping her hands and firing a large beam of light at the sand dome. Gaara tried to stop her with his sand, but as it came into touch with her light beam, it swiftly superheated and turned hot glass ore. When her beam struck the dome, it quickly turned red hot, like the glass ore on the end of a glass blower pipe. "Ice arrows," Naruto said as Arsenal and Arrow launched their liquid nitrogen arrows at the dome. Those were new weapons added to Team Arrow's inventory by Naruto before they ventured out into the city to take down the Yakuza fronts. The liquid nitrogen rapidly reacted to the molten sand, instantaneously freezing it and filling the warehouse with steam. Impulse and Flash swiftly raced around in a huge circle to suck up the steam and the sand dome was transformed into a glass dome. Impulse continued to run in a circle before sprinting at the glass dome, striking through it and slamming Gaara in the face with a strong right hook. Gaara flew out of the dome and landed with a roll and bang. Naruto dashed over to check on Gaara and discovered him asleep, so he fastened the meta power dampening band around his wrist. "I'm sorry, Gaara," Naruto said before vibrating his right hand and severing the mind control collar in two. "How is he?" Barry inquired. "Just knocked out. I'm not sure what he'll remember when he wakes up," Naruto said. Guys, is it just me or are all the guys we tied up suddenly gone?" Linda asked, and to her surprise, the Yakuza thugs and henchmen they had all taken down had vanished, leaving just clothes and firearms behind. Where did they go, and why did they leave their clothes? Roy wondered as something dropped from the ceiling and landed on the floor. They turned around and were horrified to see a massive pile of bleeding skeletons on the ground.
Roy, Barry, Naruto, and Linda covered their mouths in terror, attempting not to vomit. The skeletons appeared to be the remains of bodies that had been eaten whole and then regurgitated with the skin, muscles, and organs removed. Small strands of muscle and skin were left dangling from several bones and were covered in mucus. It was all of Orochimaru's henchmen, based on the number of skeletons in the pile.
"What the hell happened to them?" wondered Naruto. "I'm not sure we want to know," Oliver replied. Jiraiya's hearing picked up on some movement on the ceiling, and it sounded huge. He looked up and saw white scales before seeing a pair of glaring yellow and black eyes and the gleam of sharp teeth. "Move." Jiraiya, Naruto, Barry, Linda, Oliver, Roy, and Diggle rushed out of the path as whatever was on the ceiling smashed to the ground, generating a big dust cloud. When the dust settled, everyone agreed that what they were witnessing was a monster. It was a gigantic, white-scaled, spiky snake at least 40 feet long and 2 feet wide, weighing well over 600 pounds. The terrifying element was Orochimaru's head being attached to the snake's body. His head had mutated into a snake-like nose, an angular mouth with 2 rows of razor-sharp fangs, more angular eyes to resemble a snake, and his once long black hair was spiky like a sea urchin.
"What's the matter, heroes? Are you afraid of a little SSS snake?" Orochimaru's voice seemed to morph into a more snake-like tone, similar to Jafar's after he transformed into a gigantic cobra. He flashed his fangs before lunging at Barry, who sped away. Orochimaru smiled as he approached Naruto. "At first, I was upset by what your father's serum did to me. But after a while, I realized it was perfect."
Orochimaru leapt at Naruto with deceptive speed that seemed extraordinarily rapid for his bulk. Orochimaru's jaws ended up tearing off a section of the ground, and Naruto managed to sidestep out of the way. Naruto hit him in the back of the skull, but his scales were as hard as diamonds.
Son of a bai, UFGH. Orochimaru pounced on him with his tail, sending him hurtling into Oliver and Diggle. It was like being hit by a car doing 30 miles per hour. Orochimaru extracted his head from the earth while holding a big piece of concrete in his mouth, shattering it with his teeth and devouring it like Doritos.
Normally, changing into this form drains me a lot, so I'm glad I had a big lunch, Orochimaru hissed at them. Jiraiya exclaimed in horror, "Your men. You ate all your men."
They were tasty and served their purpose, assisting me in killing all of you.
Orochimaru spits a spray of green venom from his mouth, scattering Jiraiya, Roy, Barry, and Linda. When the venom landed on the ground, it began eating away at it like xenomorph blood. Jiraiya raised his katana in time to block Orochimaru's razor-sharp teeth. Jiraiya slid backwards as he held Orochimaru's mouth with his sword, but the teeth were beginning to shatter the blade, so he jumped to the side to escape being eaten. Jiraiya rose to his feet and fired his final round of icer bullets at the snake, but they splatted on his scales. Dig fired his Glock, but the bullets grazed his skin. Orochimaru was about to squish them when Linda launched a light blast at his face, temporarily blinding him and causing him to miss. Arg. The enormous man-snake flailed a little and hit the three of them with his tail, sending them flying through the air. Oliver fired an explosive arrow into Orochimaru's face, infuriating him even more and causing his tail to swing around and shatter pieces of the warehouse like a wrecking ball. He and Naruto dove to avoid being smacked by Orochimaru's tail and then again to avoid falling ceiling rafters. Oliver shot a few more arrows, but they either broke off or were deflected by his scales. Naruto and Barry flew about Orochimaru, hitting supersonic punches all over his body, but nothing seemed to work. Oliver drew another explosive arrow from his quiver and shot it at the ceiling. The explosion caused several rafters and rubble to come down, but Barry and Naruto sped out of the way just in time, burying Orochimaru beneath it. Linda used her light blasts to superheat all the metal, causing it to melt and trap Orochimaru beneath a vast pile of molten metal. Flash, twister arms. Impulse said as he began whirling his arms in a circular motion. His speed increased to the point where he was able to generate wind funnels. Flash noticed what he was doing and followed after, creating enough wind to rapidly cool the molten metal. The molten metal had cooled and solidified after roughly a minute, locking Orochimaru in a metal coffin. Linda wondered, "Did we get him?" "That guy isn't getting out of this," Barry replied. "Now what?" Dig inquired. "We'll wait a little longer, and when he's unconscious, Barry and I will take him back to Central City and put him in the pipeline, where I'll be able to make another power-dampening bracelet so he can't use his powers," Naruto explained. "Good," Jiraiya responded, "because I have some questions for this asshole." When Oliver felt anything, Naruto stated, "The line starts behind me." "Wait, do you guys feel that?" Oliver inquired as the others fell silent. The ground was trembling as they heard little booms. "Oh man, that doesn't sound good," Barry muttered as Orochimaru came out of the ground like a graboid from the film Tremors. Orochimaru began spitting venom all around them, so Barry and Naruto rushed everyone to safety. They took refuge behind shelves, crates, and anything else they could find as the venom rapidly melted everything it touched, including Diggle's jacket, which it began to eat away at. "Now, what do we do?" "I'm thinking," Naruto said as he took several explosive pellets from Oliver's strap. "Keep him occupied." Naruto began sprinting about Orochimaru to irritate and disorient him, while the others utilized whatever missiles they could to keep him busy, which only served to irritate him further due to his diamond-hard scales. Orochimaru continued to spew green poison before switching to purple venom, which rapidly transformed into a mist when it reached the ground. Naruto came to a halt and hurled the explosive pellets at Orochimaru's face, one of which landed in his mouth and exploded. "Rog!" yelled Orochimaru in anguish as smoke from the explosive leaked out of his lips and nostrils. Naruto took advantage of the opportunity to rush up Orochimaru's snake body and land a super speed punch to his face. Everyone thought it was finished when the giant snake struck the ground with a loud thud, so they slowly strolled over to his body, only for Orochimaru to spit out a cloud of purple venom from his lips, which smacked Naruto straight in the face. Orochimaru slapped everyone else with his tail, sending them flying away like ragdolls, before wrapping his tail around Naruto and squeezing him like a mouse. "Oh, little speedster. I guess you weren't fast enough." Naruto could have simply started vibrating at super speed to heat up the scales, but he discovered that his thoughts and body weren't working in sync. "Wah! What did you do?" Naruto felt as if his entire body was in slow motion, and his wires were crossed as his limbs seemed to be unresponsive. Acid venom isn't all I have. Paralysis venom is also very useful, Orochimaru mocked as he squeezed Naruto like a child with a new plush toy. Let's see how much pressure a speedster can withstand before popping. Arg. Naruto gritted his teeth in agony, doing everything he could to get free, but his body didn't respond at all. Get away from him, Linda yelled, but the snake swerved his head out of the way each time before crawling forward and headbutting her away. She flew into the air and collided with a massive industrial shelf, which toppled on her. No, yelled Naruto as Orochimaru turned to face him. Let's see how speedster tastes. Orochimaru then slammed his jaw over Naruto's head and torso, his teeth digging into his suit and body, his screams of pain muted by the fact that he was within Orochimaru's mouth. Naruto was swallowed whole by the big snake, who licked his lips with a satisfied smile. Kid. Jiraiya exclaimed in terror as the others couldn't believe what they were witnessing. Naruto had been eaten alive. Said Speedy was making his way down Orochimaru's esophagus, which was disgusting and covered in mucus, to be dissolved by acidic stomach acid. As he descended, something inside Naruto snapped, causing his eyes to blaze crimson and lightning to flood through his body. Jiraiya took a shotgun from his container and rained fury on the snake, while Oliver, Roy, and Diggle assisted by firing everything they could after seeing their friend get eaten. Orochimaru turned and was about to melt them with his corrosive venom when he came to a halt. His face began to twist and distort, indicating that his body was in a great deal of pain, leading him to writhe in pain. Everyone backed up as Barry assisted Linda out from under the shelf as Orochimaru appeared to be having an epileptic seizure as his torso began to bleed crimson and white from the inside. The light became brighter and brighter until a fist slammed clean through Orochimaru's stomach from the inside. RRAAGGHHH. Orochimaru screamed in agony as blood and mucus spilled from his wound alongside Naruto, but it wasn't the ordinary Naruto. He drew himself from Orochimaru's stomach and stood in the warehouse, dressed in pristine white and crimson lightning armor. It was the armor Naruto used to stop Hartley months before, and Barry recognized it. Naruto's eyes were burning red, and his body was vibrating at such a high frequency that he appeared to be a blur. Orochimaru's agonizing screams rang throughout the warehouse as his body began to change and the 40-foot-long white-scaled serpent returned to his human form, albeit with a large hole in his stomach and only wearing pants. The 9-leader crawled away in pain and humiliation, only for Naruto to charge forward, grab him by the neck, and hoist him up with an astonishing display of power. What are you?" Orochimaru inquired, only for Naruto to draw him close. "You're Reverse Flash's worst nightmare," Impulse said, his voice vibrating and disguised to sound exactly like Reverse Flash. Barry froze in terror as Naruto resembled Reverse Flash in appearance and voice. Impulse flung Orochimaru across the warehouse so fast that he ripped a big hole in the wall before pulling him out and throwing him into the ceiling. He was hit with a loud clang and thud before tumbling to the ground, only for Naruto to seize his leg and repeatedly bash him into the ground. "Impulse, stop!" Oliver yelled, but Naruto didn't stop and held Orochimaru up before launching speed punches all over his face and torso, further exposing the stomach wound. The only reason he wasn't dead yet was probably because of Orochimaru's heightened endurance and healing abilities. Jiraiya said, "Naruto, stop," only for Naruto to hit Orochimaru in the face and break his jaw. The blow sent him soaring into the air, but Naruto raced up, grabbed him by the neck, slammed him into the ground, and stomped on his stomach wound with his heel, causing the villain to scream in pain and horror. "Naruto, stop," Linda yelled, but he didn't respond. "He's gonna kill him." Oliver shot a grappling restraint arrow, but Naruto grabbed it before it burst. He turned to face the group, and despite his sparkling eyes, you could see he was enraged. He sped past them all and knocked them out with enough force to send them flying. He even struck Linda. Whatever was going on with Naruto seemed to be directing his rage and hatred for Orochimaru and obscuring everything else. The speedster stalked over to Orochimaru, his lightning color flickering from crimson and white to blood red, similar to Reverse Flash's lightning color. He drew Orochimaru to his knees and tightened his grip around his neck. "You ruined my life. Hurt countless people. Murdered my parents, and you don't even care about the lives you've ruined," Naruto said him. "You're right. I don't," Orochimaru said, coughing up blood. Naruto said him, "The world will be a better place without you in it. And when I'm finished with you, the rest of the 9 will follow you to the grave. You are a plague and a pestilence on this world, and I will cleanse it, beginning with you." City Center Dr. Wells was in the time vault all the way back in Central City. watching the newspaper article of the future flicker back and forth between the two possible possibilities. "Please, Naruto, don't go down this path," he pleaded aloud. The city of Starling City. Naruto raised his right palm and began vibrating it, determined to drive it through Orochimaru's brain and then heart, but Barry rushed up and tackled him away, throwing him into a wall. "Impulse, stop. You don't want to do this. This isn't you," he exclaimed, only for Naruto to knee him in the belly and slam his head against the wall. Barry was yanked by the throat and lifted into the air. "If you're not with me, you're against me." Naruto slammed him into the wall and threw a punch, but Barry adjusted his head at the last second, causing him to miss and instead smash the wall. Barry turned around and noticed the large hole Naruto's fist had created, which would have been quite painful if he had been hit. When Jiraiya grabbed Naruto from behind and put him in a rear naked choke, he headbutted Barry in the face and shattered his nose. "Kid, stop. You're hurting your friend," Jiraiya pleaded, using his incredible power to keep Naruto from moving. As a result, the speedster began vibrating at tremendous rates, causing such strong friction and heat that Jiraiya's arms burned. "Throw him," Oliver yelled, and Jiraiya did just that, hurling him into the air. While Naruto was in midair, Oliver and Roy used 2 grappling line arrows to hold him before using 2 liquid cement arrows to enclose him in concrete. Jiraiya inquired, "Did that do it?" Oliver responded, "I hope so. What's wrong with him?" "I'm not sure," Linda responded, "but whatever is happening to him, we need to stop it. We'll get him back to Star Labs. Maybe Dr. Wells can help," Barry said when Oliver observed Orochimaru attempting to crawl away and fired his final wire restraint arrow at him, trapping him against a support beam. "Do you think your Lien Yu prison can hold him?" With some modifications, Oliver responded. When Dig watched the concrete glob begin to quiver, he replied, "Argus will hold him in the meantime. Guys." The concrete began to tremor and flare in the middle, suggesting that it was heating up. "Use your ice arrows," Barry instructed as Oliver and Roy fired at the concrete slab. Barry reasoned that the ice and cold would keep Naruto from moving, but it was too late. "RRAAAAAAGGGGHHH." The concrete slab erupted, knocking them all back. They looked around and found Naruto standing there, free of the concrete jail. He didn't even give them a second glance as he saw Orochimaru get free from the wires that were keeping him. Naruto charged forward, slamming the snake into the wall before throwing him to the ground. When he was halted, he grabbed him by the neck and reared his palm back, vibrating it to drive through the snake's heart. "No." Linda moved forward and went in his way, putting herself between Naruto and his objective. "Linda, get out of there," Barry yelled, but she didn't move, instead removing her mask so Naruto could stare her down. "Naruto, please stop. I'm begging you, don't do this," she begged as Naruto stood there motionless. "Get out of my way," Naruto yelled, moving his hand closer, but she didn't budge. "Get away, Linda, he has to die." "No, he doesn't," she exclaimed. "He's committed atrocities against his victims and revels in the chaos he creates. The lives he destroys, the people he kills, the families he ripped apart. He doesn't deserve to live," he yelled. "You would protect him?" Linda exclaimed. "No, I'm trying to protect you. You're exactly what they want, Naruto. Mizuki and Orochimaru want you to transform into a monster like them." "Maybe I am a monster. Maybe it takes a monster to slay monsters. If that's what it takes to rid the world of people like him, then so be it." He reared his palm back, about to put it through Orochimaru's head when he was stopped by Jiraiya. "You don't believe that, kid," he said, squeezing him with all his superhuman power. "What would you know? You were never around. You don't know me," yelled Naruto. "I know you, and this person in front of me is not him. It's what Orochimaru is attempting to transform you into," Jiraiya implored. "Look, I get that I've pretty much ruined any chance of earning your respect, kid, and I can live with that. What I can't live with is you losing everything that makes you who you are. Everything your parents believed you could be. Don't throw it away because of him. He killed them. He ruined my life. All of the 9 deserve to die," said Naruto. "But not if you lose who you are, Naruto," Linda said, grabbing his face. As she saw the guy she loved in this situation, she began to cry. She only prayed she could resurrect him. "You said you were afraid of what would happen if you went down this path, but here I am. You said you wanted me to stop you if you went too far, but I'm right here and I'm not leaving." "None of us are," Barry stated as he joined them, hoping to get Naruto to respond. "Naruto, believe me, I understand what you're feeling right now, but killing him isn't the answer. You're better than that. Better than him. He has to die. He has to die," Naruto yelled, the pain in his voice palpable, as if it were killing him on the inside. Kid, if you do this, you'll lose everything good about who you are and what you've done. The work you've done to help the world, the people you've saved. The hope you inspire and the legacy your parents left you will be gone for good. Jiraiya warned him. I understand your pain and believe that simply killing him will make you feel better or make it easier, but all it does is make it easier for the next kill, and the next one, and the next one until you lose track and you lose a small piece of your soul for each one until you're a hollow shell of who you used to be. That's not who you are. You begged me to bring you back if you went down this path, and here I am. Your lightning rod, so please, come back to me, Linda begged. Come back to your lightning rod. For a brief while, Naruto appeared frozen before the blood-red lightning he created faded back to his crimson and white appearance and his eyes stopped glowing. His body soon stopped vibrating and he was back to normal. Linda. It's me. You're fine, she said, squeezing him tightly. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He hugged her and begged her forgiveness. It's okay, kid. You're back, Jiraiya comforted him. Diggle and Oliver approached Orochimaru and detained him with handcuffs and wire cables. Guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I just got so angry. And the anger just intensified more and more until I couldn't see straight. All this anger, hate, aggression. Every bad feeling I had just intensified. Naruto explained. Hey, it's all right. You're fine, Barry reassured him. You came back, and that's all that matters. Naruto stated, I would have killed him. I wanted to kill him. But you didn't, and that's the important thing, Linda pointed out. I kept my promise, and you're still with us. Naruto gazed at Linda and kissed her passionately. Thank you, Linda, for bringing me back. You were my lightning rod, he said, and I'm glad you like your suit. It might need some tweaking, but I love it, she said as she observed Diggle and Oliver dragging Orochimaru away. Don't worry about him. He's getting what he deserves. Yeah. His entire Yakuza faction is dead as a result of him, and he'll spend the rest of his life in a cell knowing that the son of the husband and wife who gave him his powers imprisoned him. Just desserts, Jiraiya conceded when Naruto spotted Orochimaru's hands fiddling with the restraints. Wait. Naruto's warning arrived too late, as Orochimaru managed to release himself from the cuffs and wire cables. Naruto's meta powers allowed him to heal from his wounds during the time they were attempting to calm him down. He elbowed Oliver in the face and kneeled Diggle in the stomach before hurling them towards Naruto, Barry, and Jiraiya. Linda unleashed her light bolts, but Orochimaru deflected them all. He closed the gap, grabbed her neck, and hauled her into the air. You saved me from Naruto. And for that I'm grateful. I'll grant you a quick death. All your friends, family, and fellow heroes, they won't be so lucky, Orochimaru said before undergoing a partial change that expanded his jaws and jaw to bite her head off. Naruto pulled Diggle away after seeing Linda ready to die. No, he charged forward, using his speed and might to tap into something unusual. His lightning color remained unchanged, and neither did his eyes glow red, but his Speed Force armor reappeared, imbuing him with even greater speed and energy. He dashed ahead, running directly into Linda instead than around her. He was able to vibrate his body at such a high pace that he passed straight through her. He stretched his right fist and intended to punch Orochimaru, but because he was vibrating, his fist phased through him and emerged out of his back just as his Speed Force armor faded and his speed ceased. Only the sound of blood trickling to the ground could be heard. Naruto looked horrified as he stood between Orochimaru and Linda, preventing him from eating her. But something went wrong in the process. He thrust his right fist through Orochimaru, where his heart was, and it exited through the rear of his body. As he coughed up blood, Orochimaru's smile faded and he looked down to see Naruto's fist through his torso where his heart was. I guess you won, Orochimaru said as Naruto yanked his hand out of his body. The 9 commander collapsed to the ground, blood flowing from his heart, knowing he was dying. He smirked as he looked up at Naruto one more time. You had trouble with me. The rest of the 9 won't be as easy. See you in hell. Orochimaru's head jerked back, his eyes blank. One of the world's deadliest and most notorious criminals, as well as one of the 9's commanders, was killed. Accidentally. Naruto examined his right fist, which was coated in blood. What have I done? He was paralyzed in shock at what he had just done, and the others had no idea what to respond. City Center Dr. Wells was in the time vault, watching the newspaper piece solidify, and the future was now established. He exhaled a sigh of relief as the future returned to normal, with the usual flash vanishing after crisis headline and regular impulse portrait instead of the terrible murdering one. Well done, Ems Park. And well done, Naruto, Dr. Wells said, taking a sip of scotch and breathing a sigh of relief that his strategy wasn't jeopardized. XXXXX line break the city of Starling City. They gathered at the bunker after what happened at the warehouse. Dig contacted Argus, who directed Lila to dispatch agents to secure the site and recover Orochimaru's remains. It would be an understatement to say she was inquisitive about why Orochimaru was in Starling City, how he was slain, and who killed him. She asked Dig what happened, but he said he didn't know and that they just happened to find his body like that. He didn't want to abandon Naruto. Barry grabbed Gaara and dashed back to Central City, where Caitlyn was waiting to examine him. Speaking of Naruto, he was still processing what had just occurred and what he had done. He was seated in his ordinary clothing in the bunker, with his impulse suit on the table next to him. Linda was trying her best to console him with a glass of Russian vodka, but it didn't help much. Oliver, Diggle, Roy, Felicity, and Jiraiya were all concerned about Naruto's condition. They hadn't anticipated the outcome of tonight's event, and now that it was over, they weren't sure what to do. I still can't believe everything that happened, Laurel stated, having been told what had occurred and having difficulty absorbing it. Look at him. He looks. I have no idea what he looks like. The look of horror as you replay the moment in your head over and over, Jiraiya explained. That shouldn't have happened. I should have protected him, but I didn't. It's not your fault, Jiraiya. You had no idea that would happen, Felicity comforted him. It was just an accident. Accident or not, the kid shouldn't have been there in the first place. For Christ's sake, I'm his godfather. I'm supposed to protect him, and I couldn't even do that, Jiraiya acknowledged. It's not your fault, Jiraiya, Naruto said as he lifted his head to look at them. And I can hear everything you guys are saying. How are you doing? Felicity inquired as she approached him to provide comfort. Like I'm in a nightmare of my own making, Naruto responded, gulping down the full cup of vodka in one gulp. Stupid metabolism. Can you guys give me the room for a minute? Oliver inquired. I want to talk to him alone. After Oliver stated that, they all looked at him for a split second. Dig and Jiraiya sensed that Oliver might be able to assist Naruto in coming to terms with what had occurred. Come on, guys. Let's give them the room, Dig remarked as they entered the club. Linda kissed Naruto on the cheek before approaching Oliver. Please help him. He assured her, I will. Come on, Linda. Jiraiya escorted her upstairs, and soon it was just Oliver and Naruto. Oliver stepped over to Naruto and poured him another glass of vodka, which he drank fast, not feeling anything from the booze. Oliver inquired, how are you doing? Like, I really wish I knew how to time travel so I could go back in time and stop myself, Naruto said. I'm not sure why I'm surprised at myself. I admitted it before we went into the city. I wanted bloody vengeance, and I got him. I'm no better than Orochimaru. That's not true, Naruto, and you know it, Oliver informed him as he observed Naruto look to the side, and from the look on his face, he knew it wasn't good. You see him, don't you, Orochimaru? He's standing right there, taunting me, saying how right Mizuki was, and how I'm just like him. And he's right. Naruto sprang up, hurled the cup against the wall, and flipped his chair to let it all out. My stomach is knotted, and my heart feels like it's about to burst, which is ironic given what I did. I don't deserve to wear this stupid thing. Naruto tossed down his impulse suit in despair before snatching the vodka bottle and sipping it till it was empty. Nothing happened, despite his superhuman metabolism. Damn it! Naruto exclaimed, tossing the bottle against the wall. Good, Oliver said, I was hoping for this response. Hoping? Naruto questioned, I just told you how terrible I feel after what I did. I just made a massive mess, and I'm pretty sure I'm done being impulse now. How is any of this the response you were hoping to see? Because right now it's showing me that you're feeling guilty about what you did, your first kill. Just like I did after mine, Oliver explained. It was on the island the first year, and like you, I did it to protect someone I cared about. I shot him in the chest with an arrow to save her, and afterwards it was not easy at all to recover. I didn't eat for a week. My heart felt like it was going to give out at any second, and I could have sworn I saw him out of the corner of my eye every single time I turned around. How did you get past it? Naruto wondered, desperate to discover a method to put an end to this. I'm not sure I ever did. The path I took, the mistakes and choices I've made, they continue to haunt me, and I wish I could say this will go away and get easier, but I don't want to lie to you. The guilt you feel will feel like a burden and weight, but that's a good thing because you know and understand what you did. And you didn't take it lightly. Oliver told him. I told you before that you could never become the person you're afraid of becoming, and that remains true. That was before I killed someone. Oliver, how How can I honestly look you and the others in the eye after what I've done? He admitted. I vibrated my fist through his heart, and despite my speed and everything else that happened at that moment, I felt everything. I felt my hand rip his heart in two and break through his bones like butter. You know the kind of person who does something like that. Someone who has had darkness in him since the beginning and has finally learned to embrace it. I'm a monster. I don't believe that, especially with you, Oliver said confidently. How? How can you be so certain and have such faith in me? Naruto inquired. Because I do, Naruto. I need to believe that no matter what happens in our lives, no matter how much darkness infects us, we can recover from that much. Oliver explained. Everyone has darkness in them, everyone. Just because someone is happy or free doesn't mean it isn't there. Some people never encounter that darkness, while others let it take over them, but those aren't the only options. I've killed, Naruto. I've done horrible things that sometimes I don't recognize the person I used to be, but I carry the weight of those decisions with me every day, and it reminds me that all my actions, Does the guilt ever go away? Naruto inquired, but Oliver shrugged. A part of it will stick with you, but that's a good thing. It's a reminder that you understand that what you did, you didn't take lightly. I understand killing someone to protect someone you care about, believe me I do. But that doesn't make you a monster. It means you're human. This kind of life, it'll happen more than you think. Like Barry, I don't believe that bolt of lightning struck you, Naruto. I believe it chose you. I'm not a believer in faith or destiny, but I believe that's why you got your powers, so you and Barry could be the light this world needs. I'm not like Barry, Oliver. Okay, I'm different. Tonight, you've seen it. Barry and I may share some similarities, but we're not the same person, Naruto explained. And that's a good thing. Everyone is different, and you being different than Barry is another reason why you're a better hero. You understand that life isn't always black and white, and that it requires you to do things that others would condemn, Oliver explained. When I came to Central City, you were willing to learn everything I had to teach you and dedicate time and energy into training. Something Barry fought against, and despite the influence of Prism, he didn't need the anger influx to say those things. You, on the other hand, stuck with your training and soaked in everything I had to teach you, and it's made you stronger and ready for what you have been dealing with. Maybe I did too good a job. No, don't say that, Oliver. Without your training, things would have gotten a lot worse in dozens of situations. Hell, just last week I had to think like you to turn the tables on General Eiling and his attempts to kidnap my friends. Naruto recounted his adventures when he realized something he had been circling for months. It's not something that Barry would have been able to do, but you would have. And coming to help keep my city safe while I was away is exactly what Barry would have done, Oliver added. The light you have and the good you do will far outweigh the bad. You're helping the planet and thousands of people at Star Labs and as Impulse, but you also understand how dangerous this world is and the lengths it'll go to break you. I told Roy the same thing I'm going to tell you. When you survive a crucible, you come out stronger for it. Never forget that. What now? Naruto inquired. Now it's up to you. I wish I could give you all the answers you sought, but I can't. Just take your time. And rebuild yourself, Naruto, and I know the best you have will be more than enough for the world, Oliver informed him. Naruto grinned and wiped a tear away. He stood up and shook Oliver's hand before they hugged briefly. Thank you, Oliver. Just talking about it helped a lot. I'm here if you need me, as are we all, Oliver added. If anyone understands what you're going through, it's us, so never feel alone. Thank you, Naruto murmured as he examined his suit and the blood track on his right glove and forearm. He reached inside his boot and extracted the kunai knife he had taken from Mizuki before storing it with his outfit. Can you do me a favor and burn that? Aren't you going to need a suit? Oliver inquired. Naruto told Oliver, I want to make a new one. Oliver nodded. Jiraiya, Diggle, Laurel, Felicity, Roy, and Linda were in the club upstairs. Fortunately, it had been closed for some time, so no one was there. Except for Laurel, who was drinking club soda, everyone else was drinking at the bar. How do you think it's going to go down there? Linda inquired. Oliver will reach out to him. Oliver is the only one who understands what he's going through. Dig comforted her. He's not the only one. Felicity rubbed Roy's shoulder, and he grinned back. Do you think he'll be able to recover from this? Laurel inquired. It will not be easy. I should be aware. Roy informed him. When you kill someone, even if it is unintentional, the guilt follows you. Naruto is as strong as the rest of us, if not stronger. If anyone can recover from this, it will be him. Dig was added. However, having people there to assist him will make all the difference. Jiraiya explained. The kid can recover from this. Anyone can. Jiraiya looked up at Roy, and Arsenal nodded in agreement. They heard footsteps and watched Oliver and Naruto approach, both looking better. Linda approached him and hugged him, and he returned the hug. "I'm sorry, yet again," he informed her. "It wasn't you," she responded with a fast kiss. "How are things going for you?" "I'm on my way," Naruto informed her. "Thank you, Oliver," Linda addressed him. "Don't mention it," he responded. "And thank you to everyone. Thank you for your assistance tonight. It could have been much worse," Naruto stated. "We're always available. How are you doing?" Felicity inquired. "I'm reassembling myself piece by piece. I'm not flawless, but I'll get there eventually," Naruto responded. "I've put my crucible through its paces. Now we'll see what comes out." "Well, if you need us, we're here, every one of us," Laurel informed him. "If there is anyone who understands what you are going through, it is us. We've arrived, man," Dig comforted him. "Thank you." Naruto returned the smile. "I believe it is time for us to return to Central City. I need to speak with Dr. Wells." "Sounds good to me," Linda responded as they bid Team Arrow farewell. "Thank you again, Oliver, for everything," Naruto stated as he shook his hand. "I only wish there was something I could do to help you deal with Ra's al Ghul." "You did it. You aided me in locating my solution," Oliver responded. "Well, if you ever need us, we're just a phone call away," Naruto informed him. Likewise. As Naruto hugged the others, Oliver, Linda, and Jiraiya boarded the train returning to Central City. Naruto sat next to the window on the train, watching the scenery go by. Linda curled her palm into Naruto's as she noticed him glancing out the window. "Hey, are you okay?" she inquired. "I am with you by my side," he kissed her on the lips. "I'm really sorry, Naruto. This would not have happened if I had not been present," she informed him. "No, don't even think like that." Naruto kissed her on the lips. "I'd be dead if it weren't for you. You came to my aid twice today. From both Gaara and me. You resurrected me. You're a lightning rod for me. Now and always." She kissed him again and nestled up against his side. When Naruto peeked out the window, he saw Orochimaru and Mizuki smirking at him, taunting him and calling him a monster. He took a long breath, closed his eyes, and relaxed. They were only symptoms of his guilt. They were gone when he opened his eyes, but they would return. He opened Pandora's box and let the monster out. But there was still hope. Star Labs, Central City. After Barry dropped him off, Gaara was placed on a gurney in the medical department of Star Laboratories. Caitlin did a series of tests on him, and he was alright, with the exception of some minor indicators of tiredness and some injuries from his struggle. A blood test proved that he, like Naruto, was a meta with the power to control sand. Given the circumstances, Cisco did not reveal his name. Before waking up, the red-haired meta groaned in pain, finding himself in a high-tech medical room with Naruto seated next to the gurney. "It's simple, Gaara. Don't move about too much." "Naruto?" Naruto offered Gaara a glass of water and some Advil while he grabbed his head in anguish. "Thanks." "Don't mention it," Naruto informed him. Gaara ingested the pills and drank all of the water. "Where am I?" Gaara inquired. "You're back at Star Labs in Central City. I had someone look you over, and you're alright save for some cuts, bruises, and weariness," Naruto comforted him. "What was the last thing you remember, Gaara?" "If you're curious about what I recall from my time as Orochimaru's attack dog." Gaara looked at him with a look of fear and rage at himself. "I recall everything. I was complacent because of the control collar and did what he ordered, but I remember what I did." "Gaara, that's not your fault," Naruto informed him. "I wish I believed you, Naruto, but don't try to defend yourself. I'm a beast." Gaara agreed. "What I've done, it's beyond forgiveness. No one, Gaara, is beyond redemption. You mentioned that to me once," Naruto stated, "and I understand how it feels to be horrified by your own actions. I assassinated Orochimaru." "You did?" Gaara inquired. "Good riddance. You will not hear me argue. It wasn't simple though. I'm not over it yet, and I doubt I ever will be. But some wonderful friends of mine helped me realize that just because someone has darkness in them doesn't mean they can't return to the light," Naruto informed him. "Gaara, you were one of the most amazing people I met in college. You assisted everyone, and despite being offered a dream job working for a political campaign in New York, you chose to travel abroad and assist others. That alone tells me everything." "I'm not the same person I was when I was in college," Gaara stated. "I'm not either. We'll just have to figure out who these new folks are, but I can assure you, you have me and a lot of other people on your side to assist you get through this," Naruto comforted him. "I'm not abandoning you now, or ever." What now? Gaara inquired. Now. You rest and recover. You've gone through a lot, but Orochimaru and his minions are no longer alive, so you don't have to worry about them coming after you. Naruto informed him. I also contacted your brother and sister, who are on their way to see you. They should arrive by tomorrow. Thank you, Naruto. And I apologize for what I did. Gaara was sorry for almost murdering him and his buddies. I'm also sorry for the punch in the face. I hope it wasn't too painful, Naruto stated. I'm alright. I'm just delighted you showed up, Gaara stated. Did your parents create the serum that gave me my abilities? Yeah, and the serum that gave me mine, but when they discovered who Orochimaru was and what he was a part of, they attempted to stop him. Naruto elaborated. Now I'm completing their task. Orochimaru is taken care of, thus the rest of the 9 follow. The 9? I can assist you with that, Gaara stated. I'll see you later, Gaara. Get some rest for the time being. No, I mean, I remember Orochimaru meeting with 2 other leaders of the 9. Gaara elaborated. Who? Naruto was now perplexed. A redhead named Sasori and a blonde ponytail named Deidara. They're a couple, and Orochimaru met them in Asia. Sasori and Deidara. There are 2 more to go, Naruto thought to himself. But wait, there's more. They were accompanied by 2 other people, including me. They had the same collars around their necks and had the same powers, Gaara stated. My father did make 8 more meta serums. I guess the 9 used them as personal bodyguards, Naruto stated. Many thanks, Gaara. That will help, but for now, rest, heal, and rebuild yourself. Thank you, Naruto. Gaara leaned back and attempted to sleep. It wouldn't be easy, and Gaara had gone through a lot. However, it was conceivable. Naruto entered the corridor and noticed Jiraiya writing in a notepad, keeping a diary? A book, in fact. I always promised myself that when I was ready to retire, I would try my hand at writing. Jiraiya responded, closing his notebook. What are you talking about? What have you done in intelligence agencies? Naruto was a little perplexed. No, a romance tale based on my own personal experiences with love and rejection. Something to offer people all across the world hope. Jiraiya responded proudly. So, a complete work of fiction, and, knowing you, a book of smut. Jiraiya gave Naruto a glare as he said this. Anyway, you did fly over us, didn't you? Who exactly are Sasori and Deidara? I'm not sure. The names appear to be recognizable, but I'll have to double-check my sources. But we have 2 more names, and given how long it took to find Orochimaru, finding them will be considerably more difficult. Jiraiya expressed concern about how much labor this would entail. You don't have to leave right away, do you? Naruto inquired as the 2 came to a halt. Would you like me to stay here, kid? Jiraiya inquired. Well, you've proven useful in a fight and knowing this group on a regular basis, Naruto agreed. Plus, I'd like to keep your ass for a little longer. I think I've earned some time off after everything, so I'll stay for a while. Jiraiya gave Naruto a friendly smile. If only to try to score with your smoking hot landlady, Tsunade. Try it again, and she'll send a punch further south, which will hurt. Naruto said this as the 2 of them entered the cortex, where the others were waiting. Caitlin approached him and hugged him, and he returned the hug. How are you doing? I'm feeling better, Caitlin. Thanks. As he hugged Cisco and Barry, he said. I'm simply pleased you're okay. We're sorry we couldn't be of more assistance, Cisco stated. No, you guys have already done more than enough. Naruto responded as he approached Dr. Wells. In particular, Dr. Wells. In my goggles, I discovered the tracking probe. Thank you very much. As I previously stated, Naruto, I will always be there for you, and I'm delighted you returned in one piece. Dr. Wells spoke up. I'm in pieces, but I'm piecing myself back together, Naruto informed him. How's Gaara? Barry inquired. He's awake and will require assistance and support, but he's alive. He's been through a lot, but he's got us, and we can help. Naruto responded. He also gave us something else. Sasori and Deidara. Who are they? Linda inquired. 2 other 9 leaders. Gaara recalls a conversation they had with Orochimaru. They also have 2 more humans, mind-controlled metas, like Gaara. Jiraiya elaborated. Innocent people whose lives have been turned upside down as a result of my parents' mistakes, but I intend to change it, Naruto informed them. Take care, Naruto. You're aware of what could have happened tonight, Dr. Wells warns him. I am, and I know it will take some time to find them. I also know that if it hadn't been for my family, right here in this room, I would have been slain. Naruto stated as he looked around at everyone who had gathered. I told you to stay out of this, and yet you came anyway. Yeah, and we helped you. Naruto nodded as Barry told him. You did it. I wanted to keep you all out of this because I'm worried about what might happen to my new family. But we are stronger as a group. The rest of the 9 will receive what they deserve, but I won't do it alone. So, we knock them down jointly. Naruto stated, and everyone nodded in accord. This is a war, not just a battle, and we've struck the first blow. Now we're preparing for the next one. Location is unknown. 8 holographic silhouettes came from 8 high-tech platforms in an undisclosed place somewhere on the Earth. There was a period of stillness as they all looked at the 9th platform, which was not turned on. Orochimaru is dead. The middle silhouette spoke up. He was the boss. Well, good riddance. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but he always bothered me. Who was it that killed him? I'm not sure right now. We'll look into it, but all of Orochimaru's Yakuza fronts have recently been attacked. It's most likely the same individual. Determine who it is. They, whomever they are, cannot derail our goals. The remaining assets of Orochimaru's operation will be distributed fairly, and those who are still alive will be dealt with. We cannot afford to have any leaks. Those who came after him in life will come after him in death. The leader spoke in some warped tribute to the slain leader of the 9. All look after it. Samahata could benefit from a workout. That's excellent. For the time being, it's business as usual. And whomever declares war on us will suffer. The leader spoke as the silhouettes faded away one by one until he was alone, and the last things seen were purple eyes with a unique circular pattern. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.